सजा शारदीय दुर्गा पूजा खुशी आजी सहर ठुगा सिंह बाजा मादल बाजा झल सुछि मेढ सजा हुरी पड़े आजी माना आसो 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 गो मो दुर्गा माँ। नमस्कार मु आरजे शुभश्री आपण समस्त को 90.4 सोआ रेडियो परिवार तरफ शारदीय दुर्गा पूजार ढेर सारा अभिनंदन स्वागत जणे आरंभ करुछु। आज शारदीय उपस्थापना महिमामयी नारी अस्मितार प्रतिफलन। नारी सर्वदा शक्ति शांति मैत्रीर प्रतीक। ता जीवन में जेकोसी परिस्थिति आसुना कहीं से सबुबले निजको संभाली निए निज स्वाक्षर हवा सह अन्य मानक स्वाक्षर कराए निज गोड़े निजे छिड़ा हबार दक्षता भरी दिए। आज आम सहित अतिथि भाव में जोड़ी होती आभा मिश्र स्टेट हेड UNDP ओडिशा। तांको सहित उपस्थापिका भाव में जोड़ी होती अभिनेत्री रिया रेशमबारी। तेबे चलंतु आज कार्यक्रम को स्वागत करिबा।
Thank you Subhashri for the wonderful introduction. Namaste, my name is Riya Reshambari and today I have with us a distinguished leader who has over 3 decades of experience and currently serves as the state head of UNDP, Ms. Abha Mishra. Hello ma'am, welcome to our show today.
Thank you so much. Namaskar.
Would you like to tell us about how did you start working with UNDP? How did it begin for you?
You know, for me, I started working in 1991 after my post-graduation, and I worked with the tribal community on forestry, livelihoods, and did a lot of research with international universities. After that, the super cyclone happened in 1999,
Yes.
where about 10,000 people died. As a part of the NGO fraternity, we actually started a group with Mr. Jagdanand as also part of it. We started working with communities and we realized that there is a lot of work which needs to be done. In that context, the UNDP and all the UN agencies like UNICEF, WFP, UNFP, everybody were coming together to do something in Odisha. As we even as a country did not have a disaster management act.
Correct.
So I joined UNDP as a United Nations volunteer. So that's where the whole journey started, with working with the UNDP. We were posted in the most vulnerable districts where there was a lot of damage, and I was posted in the Baleshwar district. So our work was to look at all the relief and rehabilitation work which was going on, specifically supporting the government officials in their activities, and also undertaking the UN work which was happening in that particular district.
It's a two-way thing. So how do you incorporate that in your work?
You have to remember that the whole UN agency per se is a multilateral government body. It is not an NGO, non-governmental organization. It is not a government also. It's a government body, multilateral government body. So keeping that in mind, the UN basically and specifically UNDP works with the government to start with. So that's one of the reasons why we were supporting the government at that particular point of time. We were complementing and supplementing the work of the government. How does your question was about how do we integrate it with the community-based organization or NGOs? What happens is that there are two ways. Certain activities, when we do pilots, we could also work directly with the NGO in that particular area, working on a particular thematic area, and work and support that particular pilot project. And then when the scaling up comes in, then the government gets involved. It could be a scale up at a district level or a state level or even at a national level, or even at an international level.
Yes. So what were the challenges that you came across while you were working at your office?
As I mentioned, that we didn't even have a disaster management act. We even didn't have proper institutions guiding to and working for disaster management, or so what happens is these institutions came after that. at that particular point of time, why there was such a loss of life was also people were not aware about it. They were aware about the cyclonic storm, but the intensity and the severity of the cyclonic storm was something which was not predicted by them.
I've seen it. I've seen my friends do it. So I've seen them, say that क्या ज़रूरत है 2-3 साल में तो फिर मैं चेंज कर ही लूँगा, तो इसका क्या अभी मुझे इंश्योरेंस लेने की ज़रूरत है. So I've seen that they usually don't. So would you like to tell us why is it important?
There are two things. One, I take an insurance for my life because I want to ensure that the family I leave behind gets something which they can tide over. May not take them through the whole life, but at least tide over at a certain point of time. If I take a health insurance, I ensure that I don't end up spending something out of my pocket which I don't have it. I don't borrow it from anyone. Now, why is asset insurance also important? Is basically because I have created these assets over a period of time. At any given point of time, if you look at the earthquake of Gujarat of 2001, poor people have lost their property.
Yeah.
But just imagine, compare it to a rich man who has lost the property. How big the difference is.
Yeah.
Will you be able to get it back immediately? So that's where the insurance is there. You are transferring your risks to something else. Even now the government is, the Kalya Yojana, the Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana, the livestock. Why do we all do it? We may do it for 100 people, but only one person may have lost it. But that person gets it. So that's the beauty of, risk transfers.
Correct.
So that's why it is very, very important.
What is it that they themselves can, contribute to, which will help fulfill a bigger role?
If you look at the 17 SDG goals, we can't go through all of them. It will take ages. I'll just pick up a couple of them. Let's say no poverty. Now, why poverty is there? It's basically because we are not sharing or we are hoarding. So can we have a system where we share a lot and we also have an equitable distribution?
Yes.
The second thing, let's take, we are talking about clean water. Now, clean water, when I use a plastic bottle, I drink Coca-Cola and throw it on the road. Where will it go? It rains, it goes into a drain, and from the drain it goes to maybe a sea, or from a river to a sea. So where is the plastic? The plastic is going into our mother's milk. It's even going into our brains.
You can, talk to us, but the whole idea of ki nahi, hame, like if we break, then we will be viewed as a weaker section. There's a reason why people think that women, because they're so emotionally, vulnerable, they feel that, oh, this is the reason why they're weak. Which I think...
when you look at the SDGs as you keep on going, then there's this whole life on underwater or life on land or the climate change per se itself. Every small action would help. Starting from the time you get up, you can always go in for a walk rather than taking your motorcycle or your scooty and walking down to some place to buy something, milk packet. Walk down and take it. You are helping in reducing the emission.
Carbon emission, yes.
To your carbon emission there. Now, once you have come, the plastic pouch, you have got it, clean it, keep it somewhere, give it to a waste picker. They will dispose it properly.
So I've seen that even for kids, it's very difficult. Like, they are so dependent on their mothers. It's very difficult to just have conversations with the children, like kids, small kids, because earlier it wasn't that big of an issue, and it's weird that...
No, actually what happens is also when you look at the 30 years, 50 years ago, the generation had lesser of distractions.
Oh, yes.
Also, you had lesser and you had people to people connect more. And that is what I feel in the college. That's what you should be having. People to people connect, because you are there. Your devices are going to stay there for your life.
Yeah.
But these friendships, these relationship with teachers, relationship with the communities where you work, is not going to last. So you build up and you pick up and keep them to last. That's where it is. Because now you also, within a household, you have the mother working and the father working, and they also, going to a long distance. So the time gap for communication is very less.
Yeah. How is it going to help them, and how can they seek for opportunities where they can work for international, bodies like the United Nations?
The first thing I would say is you should have your own self-confidence is the biggest thing. Second is you have to skill yourself. Wherever, whichever sector you want to go, skill and understand that sector, the pros and cons, and what could be the possible challenges, and how equipped you are to accept those challenges. Because sometimes what happens is we go with rose-colored
rose tinted glasses.
Yes, rose-colored tinted glasses, and or with big visions that I am going to go to a UN agency and I'm going to go and work in Delhi. But what competition you had in Bhubaneswar is not the same competition you're going to have in Delhi. It may be the same organization, same structures, same everything, but the competition level would be very different.
About how the tribal knowledge has integrated into the UNDP projects and to enhance the environmental sustainability.
Okay, I'll give you one example which was current in 2013 after the... not 2013, I think it was 2018 when we had the Titli cyclone.
Oh, yes.
In the Gajpati district. One of the things which was what we realized was in many of the places you don't have enough water. There is water given properly by the nature, but the amount of water we want for our use, cultivation, or drinking purposes or bathing purposes is not sufficient. So what we did was we started something called spring revival. Now, using the traditional knowledge of the community, the tribal community, you identified the springs which were there. Someone could be perennial springs, some could be seasonal spring. Once you have identified all the springs, you actually tested the quality, the flow, inflow and outflow of the springs, then tested the quality of these springs, and all the young youth of that village and others and some elderly came together to learn these skill sets.
That's so nice.
And then using technology, which is app-based technology, they actually mapped it out.
In future also, with their own means and resources, they can build other, they can use these techniques to have
of course, that always happens. Many a times the communities have certain knowledge, the enhancements is done by the scientific, and once they see the fruits of it, the neighboring or their own relatives who come from different others, they may also take it up. So there are a lot of people, a lot of organizations which work on like that also. So sometimes you don't really have to put in money for it. The government doesn't even have to put in money because the community takes care of it because it's their asset. Or they will give them some money, the rest of the caretaking is taken care by the government, by the community itself. Sorry.
Yes. Use these SDGs to solve climate change and, fulfill our goals, SDG goals.
The water management, the big dams can be managed by men, but the small kattas and other things are managed by the women. Women takes water to the household for drinking, for cleaning, for the animals, everything. Now, why can't we involve them? We need to
Exactly.
involve them.
Exactly.
The government of Odisha has been doing that. They have been a lot of programs called the Pani Panchayat they have, which is basically in medium irrigation points. When women are getting involved in that, they are taking charge of it also. The water budgeting is happening. How much water can happen? Male and females both are discussing, because females are also getting involved in vegetable cultivation,
Nice.
cutting, food processing. So they also require it. So I mean, climate change will impact many things. Food systems are one. Water scarcity is second, where somewhere you will have more water where there were less water earlier.
Correct.
And now you have
And somewhere no water.
no water also. And also then the women again have to walk down or create spaces where they can fetch water from. So women involvement is of course very, very important.
What could be the most important skill that they should cultivate? So I think we've learned that.
I think it is very important that both the genders should be skilled on everything.
On everything.
Cooking in the household becomes a woman's job. Cooking in a hotel becomes a man's job. Both knows how to cook.
Yeah.
Why can't there be an interchange? So I would always suggest is to all my women girls audience that learn whatever you like. Try it out. Think what you want. And I would like to tell all men and boys of the audience, please support them.
Yes.
And try to put yourself in their shoes and learn their skills also. Because tomorrow you don't know what would help you out.
I would just like to thank you, ma'am, for sharing your experience, your insights for these important issues that somewhere we feel that it's okay, climate change hai, hame to nahi affect karega. But then it's important that we should start acting now. Now is the time that we should really start. If we look at it from a sustainability point of view, we have to act now. So
Earth is only one.
Earth is only one, yes. So yeah, with that, thank you so much and namaskar.
Namaskar.
ଶୁଣିଥିଲେ ଆଜିର କାର୍ଯ୍ୟକ୍ରମ ମହିମାମୟୀ ନାରୀ ଅସ୍ମିତାର ପ୍ରତିଫଳନ। ଅତିଥି ଭାବରେ ଯୋଡ଼ି ହୋଇଥିଲେ ଆଭା ମିଶ୍ର, ଷ୍ଟେଟ୍ ହେଡ୍ UNDP ଓଡ଼ିଶା। ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ ତ ସମୟ ହୋଇଯାଇଛି ଆଜିର ଅତିଥିଙ୍କୁ ବିଦାୟ ଦେବା। ମୁଁ ପୁଣି ଥରେ ଆପଣମାନଙ୍କ ପାଖକୁ ନେଇ ଆସିବି ଆଉ ଗୋଟିଏ ନୂଆ ଅଧ୍ୟାୟ ଏବଂ ସେହି ନୂଆ ଅଧ୍ୟାୟରେ ଥିବେ ଆପଣମାନଙ୍କ ପାଖରେ ଆଉ ଜଣେ ନାରୀ ଶୁଣିବା ତାଙ୍କ ଜୀବନ ସଂଘର୍ଷର କାହାଣୀ। ନମସ୍କାର।